Hey there, my friends. It's Andy coming to you live from Orange County, California. Wow, my hat's high on my head there. Um, did you see my new graphic? I got a new graphic for the show as we are beginning to develop. How do you like that? I thought it was pretty cool. I may change it from, I don't know, but that is what our show is going to be called. I'm going to be more consistent in the sense that this is going to be more of a regular thing. It will be a regular show. And for the most part, what I'm planning on is being somewhat early in the morning. I know that 8:57 in the morning on West Coast time is not necessarily that early. I'm actually thinking maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 a.m. To determine a time. Let me know what your thoughts are on when you would like these messages come on, when you're most likely to watch them. Again, early is that in the sense that if there's something that I talk about or the devotional has something to say that hits you, that it will carry you through the day. That is the idea, as opposed to sometimes I come on in the afternoon and do a daily devotional and you go, I could have used that this morning when I woke up to chaos happening in my life. Where was that message when I really needed it? So that is the thought process. And again, I'm thinking about going to a more of a graphic that will be what's the word, branded for this particular show. Oh, wow. Lots of comments. Hey, Corinda, nice to see you. You like the countdown? I made that in Canva. That actually, the music's not in Canva, but the graphic is, I made it in Canva. Thank you for your compliment on that. I appreciate that for the countdown. Oh, Canva. Hey, Priscilla, nice to see you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, April, good morning. Great to see you. I appreciate that. I'm mostly likely to watch this at 11 a.m. my time, which is 8 a.m. Yeah. All right. Good. So again, it's one of those things that as we're developing. Where did my other thing go? Hold on. As we're developing the U.S. Patriot Project and the network and the broadcasting network that's going to go along with it, is the number of shows throughout the day will not just be me. I'm thinking 2 shows for me. One on the spiritual aspect of my walk and sharing it with you, and then the evening show, which will be more on current events and political and Christian conservative movement will be more in the evening time. And that's right now the thought on the programming for the network that I'm currently developing. All right, so let's get into the daily devotional for today, and it's called "The Secret of Spiritual Consistency." As usual, and I know. And I know often that somehow the daily devotionals or what I read in the Bible, whatever, always seem to coincide what's happening in my life. Yesterday was a wild day, by the way, in my life. I'm not sure how things happen for you leading up to the holidays, because I am telling you, consistently throughout my years on this planet, the holidays have not always been the best. I would say consistently more holidays have been filled with chaos and turmoil, and I'm just not a fan. I did a show the other day called "I Hate Holidays" or something like "I Hate Christmas" or whatever it is. And it's not that I don't, obviously, I think the birth of Jesus Christ is the most important thing that's happened to us, right? But the holidays themselves, what we've created as humans on this earth, horrible mess we've created with the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and sometimes all the rest of the holidays. It just causes so much turmoil and heartache and pain with families. Like who's coming over, who's not coming over, who do we like now and who don't we like anymore, and how much alcohol can we drink to cover up the pain of having these morons or these people in my house, and how long are they staying, when are they leaving, right? And then all the other stuff, the presents and that kind of stuff. And so I'll get to more of that. And you're going to say, once I read it, what does that have to do with this message? It has, for me, again, this is a selfish show because I do the show for myself and just happen to share it with you. But the stuff, right? This stuff that's happening around all of us in our life sometimes disrupts the consistency, so that the secret of spiritual consistency is disrupted by the stuff that's happening. So let me go ahead and get into the daily devotional, and then we'll come back and talk just a little bit. But when a person, actually, I'm going to wear my glasses to make sure that I don't miss a word. When a person is newly born again, he seems inconsistent due to his unrelated emotions, exactly what I'm talking about, and the state of external things or circumstances in his life or her life. The Apostle Paul had a strong and steady underlying consistency in his life. Consequently, he could let his external life change without internal distress because he was rooted and grounded in God. Most of us are not consistent spiritually because we are more concerned about being consistent externally. In the external expressions of things, Paul lived in the basement, while his critics lived on the upper level. And these two levels do not begin to touch each other. But Paul's consistency was down deep in the fundamentals. The great basis of his consistency was the agony of God in the redemption of the world, namely the cross of Christ. State your beliefs to yourself again. Get back to the foundation of the cross of Christ, doing away with any belief not based on it. In secular history, the cross is an infinitesimal small thing, but from the biblical perspective, it is more important. It is of more importance than all the empires of the world. If we get away from dwelling on the tragedy of God on the cross in our preaching produces nothing. It will not transmit the energy of God to man. It may be interesting, but it will have no power. However, when we preach the cross, the energy of God is released. It pleased God through the foolishness of the message preached to save those who believe. We preach Christ crucified. And 1 Corinthians 1:21 through 23. So exactly what I'm talking about. Whoa, I couldn't see there for a second. But exactly what I'm talking about. It is the things that are where you become inconsistent due to his unrelated, and we're talking about us, unrelated emotions and the state of the external things or circumstances in our life. And wow, just had a conversation with somebody about that, about the chaos that life not only brings to myself, but to other people. One of the interesting things, if you don't know, if you're watching this and you have no idea who I am and what's been going on, but a few weeks ago, I got struck with the COVID-19, which caused me to be in the hospital for 6 days and kind of even away from the home to be quarantined, right? And so I'm away from the family, and I have 5 kids. 4 of them are young, 7, 10, 12, 14, and then I have a 26-year-old. So while I was gone, my 26-year-old stepped up and took time off of work and took care of the kids while I was both in the hospital and being quarantined. And one of the things that she said, one of the first things she said to me, and I can't remember if it was when I finally came home out of quarantine or what have you, she said, "How do you do this?" And I went, "Do what?" And you go, the online schooling, the feeding them, they constantly eat, the talking, the need for them to go out and do stuff and scooter and all that kind of stuff. And she wasn't complaining. She was just saying, "What? And you work, and I have businesses that I run. So how do you run the businesses, and how do you deal with all this stuff that's going on?" And again, I understand where she's coming from because she's a 26-year-old single woman living in an apartment with 2 of her friends who has a job. On the other hand, she comes here as a 26-year-old and she's got 4 kids now she's got to feed who have all different personalities, different needs, schooling, homework, things that need to be printed on the printer. And then they also need to go outside and not be stuck in the home, do it. And so all this kind of stuff. And when we're talking about, again, now I'm getting to the point where you have external things that are going on around you. When you have also your thoughts and your sinful thoughts and that kind of stuff, it is hard to be consistent. It is really hard to be consistent because other things, and she doesn't have an ex-wife. I do. And so you add all that up and you go, wow, to us, individually, our lives are what they are, and we kind of get used to them, and things just kind of happen. We go, I got 5 kids. I got to, 4 of them are little. Got to take care of them. They eat. We have to go to the grocery store. Things happen. And to us, it seems like this is that thing. The problem is we can become so used to the chaos, so used to all the things happening that we forget about who? God, Jesus Christ, and the importance of maintaining that relationship in our life. It is one of those relationships. It's kind of like a marriage, right? Where that is the thing that often suffers the most because we're too focused on all the other chaos that's going on in our life. That the 2 things that suffer probably most in a marriage is the relationship between the husband and wife and your relationship with God. Those 2 things suffer first. And then we lose control. and things get out of hand. So that is why when you listen to pastors, with their messaging, and what the Bible says is that you put God first. If we could put God first and what is important to him, and then apply those things in our life as we go forward, it makes the rest of the chaos maybe less chaotic, but it also keeps us grounded in why God's word is so important when we're making our daily decisions on what it is that we do from time to time. It will actually reduce the chaos if we put God first, if we put his messaging first, the word and the Bible and the teachings first, because then it'll set us in a path where things don't get as overwhelming, maybe cause you fear, maybe cause you anger. Oh, yesterday I could have used it. Actually, I could have used this message a day earlier than today. Is that it would have been much better for me yesterday, so that we can take the word, we can take everything we're hearing, so that it becomes. I would have been less filled with hatred and anger yesterday. Literally, was my day yesterday filled with anger and hatred. And I'm not sure that I started off the day yesterday the right way. And that is putting God first and putting his message first. And then feeling his power and the strength for me to deal with what was happening next. So I hope that this is making sense. And so this consistency is what's important, I think, for me and hopefully you with this message, is that it's consistent, that we do this, right? That we read this and we stay in this. The consistency in this is more important than the consistency to have breakfast, the consistency to have a cup of coffee in the morning. Like, we can be very consistent in those things, in our habits. We can be very consistent in the things of our desire and what it is we want. Why? When I wake up, I have to have a cup of coffee. When I wake up, I have to go for a walk. When I wake up, I have to go to the gym. How about when I wake up, I get into God's word first, right? We put that first. The consistency of that is always the easiest thing to fall off. Well, somebody like me, maybe not you. All of you watching are far more faithful than I am. But I'm telling you, people that are like me can say, you know what? I don't have time for God today. I don't have time for his word this morning. I don't have time. I have stuff happening. I got to send a mean email to an attorney. Right? I mean, that becomes the focus. The consistency of being in God's word should be as consistent as having that cup of coffee in the morning, where it is like you have to have it. Like, people have to have their cup of coffee, right? People have to have their Starbucks. People have to have their whatever it is, whatever that thing is. Their gym fix. That has to happen. If they don't, their entire day is ruined. Why not have the consistency of being in the word, being with God first, and then, and not just in the morning, but throughout the day, putting that first, and then reading it with your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever, right? Or your boyfriend. That those two things need to be the priority. Because if you do, and again, I'm not telling you this is easy. I'm not telling you that I do it. I don't. But I'm learning that when I do it, it is a way better day that I have, because there's just going to be the chaos. There's going to be all the stuff happening. And again, I look at my daughter, who comes in from living with a couple girlfriends in an apartment, and then simply going to work and then going home. And even with that, she's told me how, it's so exhausting. And I did. And then she may be watching this Facebook Live. I'm not sure. Facebook eventually. She's a little bit more tuned to what I'm doing now than she used to be. And so I want to make sure, Courtney, I'm not saying anything. She said it was fun. Bad. But is that the interesting thing is that you go from that to 4 children, schooling, and that kind of stuff. She did. Ray just said, she said it was fun, and there's no doubt. She said, she thought it was really fun. She was moved by how her relationship with her siblings was fantastic and great. But it was the amount of activity, the things you have to remember to do, and how much they eat, and how much they're always hungry, how much they always have these things, and their emotions, and how different their personalities, all that kind of stuff, that you get thrown into that, and you can see how some things begin to go away, and you're not as consistent. Again, this whole message is about consistency in the word and God and Jesus Christ. That's the thing that tends to suffer for many of us. Again, not for all of you, but for many of us, it is the one thing that gets thrown aside. Like, I don't have to read the Bible today. I'll read it tomorrow, or I'll catch up on my devotionals at the end of the week. Whatever that is, your excuse. But again, and this is why pastors and many people say you got to put God first. You put him first, then it will help with your decision making, with your processing of difficult situations. Again, being fearful about something, whether it's cancer, a family member that is ill or something like that, that those things will begin to fall into place and you'll handle them better. There's no doubt in my mind, because when I am consistent in putting God first, everything else is less in relationship to anger, hatred, misery, exhaustion, stress, anxiety, right? Those things become way less when you put God first. They just do. It's the power, it's the magic of God in Jesus Christ having life. It is it is magical. It is supernatural. Right? We know this. We know Jesus Christ is supernatural. Everything that happened is supernatural. And so I don't know how to explain it. I just know that it works, and he loves us, and he did everything for us. And when you really, when you're reading sometimes the things that Jesus Christ went through about in relationship to him being crucified, it makes the difficulties you may have with your day a hell of a lot less. Right? Wow, so many messages. You guys are great. I love this stuff. I'm gonna have to go back now. So sorry. I know some of them are going to be delayed, and so the comment may be related to something I said earlier. But I love how you guys are saying hi to each other, and you're building like a little bit of a community on these things. You got Priscilla saying hey hi to April, telling her good morning. I think that's pretty awesome. I love that. I love that you guys are communicating and talking to each other. Let's see what April will say. My holidays have been abnormal ever since Morgan's autism diagnosis. So COVID or no COVID, my holidays are pretty much the same. Yeah. From Twitter, reading is hard. Okay. Yeah, it is. Paul lived like Sleepy Joe in the basement. Oh, no. You can't compare Paul to Sleepy Joe. That is funny, though. But the basement... let's see. God, Trump should never be mentioned in the same sentence. Okay, Woody Knit. You have no idea what you're talking about. They'll say uneducated, unfactual statement. Jen, I knew you'd like that one. Very good. Good morning. Good morning. Hedy Maramati. And then saying hi to April. Again, I love this community of people talking to one another, connecting and discussing what's going on here. All relationship building has to be intentional at all times, including the Lord. Absolutely. At first, love that. Awesome. Give you a link to where I can find the devotional you are reading from. I think I saw that Hedia did that, I believe. Let's see. Yep. That's... is that the right one? I'm sure it is. If that's not. Hey, Carl, nice to see you. Awesome. Hey, Amy, watch it on YouTube. Fantastic. All right. So I wanted to make sure and touch on those. So again, being consistent is always my hurdle. My hurdle is the consistency of putting God first in the morning. It will actually supernaturally guide you through the day, help you through the day, calm the chaos, calm the anxiety, calm the stress that will be coming your way. And like I said before, it's a little bit supernatural on how that all works. And I don't know why I get emotional when I do these things. And there's things that are going on in my mind right now that are causing me this stuff. And my kids are sitting over here right behind the camera playing Fortnite, obviously listening to what I have to say. And these are some of my accountability partners. My son and is one of the most amazing, and that's not to say that Ray is not, but accountability on praying. I'm not as spectacular at that as I should be, but Kelly's always the one who reminds us that we need to pray before we eat or before bed, and that's great to have somebody like that in the house that does that. because that consistency in doing that is obviously a thing that I'm personally working for that I am not great at. And so those things are helpful. I was talking to Hedia this morning about, she was talking to me about accountability partners and those types of people that you have in your life, and to make sure and find those. I've talked about that on a couple shows ago, that is one of the things that's most important to this movement. Oops, I got rid of it. The Patriot Project, the U.S. Patriot Project, in the men's training. If you go to ministry on the website, which for some reason right now the website's a little jacked up. I'm not sure what happened to it, but the menu items are all gone. So I'm gonna have to figure out and get those back up. So if you actually go to the website, you may not see that menu item called ministry for temporarily, but it will be back up. But one of those things is choosing good friends, choosing the right people to be your accountability partners that you can go to with whatever's going on in your life. And that's important. I'm lucky enough to have some accountability partners here that live with me. They're good for that. But you need outside people that are of your possible age group, maybe of what it is, and understanding of where you at in your walk. And you can have those communications and those processes of having discussions and saying, hey, I'm struggling with this today. What are your thoughts? And you have any words of wisdom that may help me get through that kind of stuff. So having that available, I think, is going to be huge for that thing. You are setting an example for your kids. They will be so much more better off in their adult. Yeah, that's my hope. That is my hope. We had some pretty deep conversations yesterday. And so it's great to come back from yesterday and start again and having God start my day today. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Yesterday was a lot of talking, so my voice is a little rough today. So I apologize for having to clear my voice. All right, so just here is my new graphic. Let me know what you think of the graphic. I'm thinking about using this so that, and the reason graphics are important and the reason branding is important is so that you guys can recognize. I know that I've been kind of lax in scheduling. I normally pre-schedule my broadcast. It's just that with the chaos, the hecticness of all this stuff going on right now, it's been more difficult to find that perfect time to start something because dinner gets in the way, development gets in the way, phone calls get in the way. And so I've not been as good at scheduling. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, maybe even after the holidays, my plan is to have the schedule broadcast up a few hours at least, if not earlier in the day for the day's broadcasting. So maybe the night before, having this graphic pop up on a pre-schedule, you'll know that this particular graphic, when you see it, is going to be a show on the daily devotional. And then when you see a graphic like this one, graphic like this one, you will know that it has to do with the Andy Falco show, and that's a more current events, political discussion. So the importance of the branding will notify you what's going on. And so if you're wondering why, well, what does it matter what your graphic is? To some of you, others, you know exactly what I'm talking about. April and Corinder know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is what I'm thinking for the graphic for this particular show. And then there will be an intro video that will go along with that. So let me know what your thoughts are. And I'm probably going to be in this devotional. Now that's slightly different than mine, right? Mine is the green. This is the one that Bruce Lynn. That's another friend of mine. Bruce Lynn gave me it's a leather bound. I think it's leather, at least it feels like leather. It may be pleather. But I really like it. So the utmost force highest is the one that I'm using. I've only been using this for 6 months, so I have another 6 months, and I don't know if I'm just going to start all over again or maybe get a different devotional so that we have a different perspective that will be coming through, and so that graphic may change a little bit. I'm sharing all this with you because I love having you involved, all of you involved in what it is that catches your attention, that you're interested in, and just hearing they get your opinion on some of the stuff. So I love reaching out to you guys and having you be a part of it. Janet loves it. Awesome. Since it worked so well last night, I will say it again. Anyone who adores Andy. Thank you. Thank you, April. You are the best. So I'll take that picture and probably use that later. I appreciate that. And so one more time, I'm going to put up this banner really quick. Go to this graphic right here, USA Patriot, is one of the things April, the US Patriot Project, as we're developing the broadcasting network for this. We're developing a ministry of teaching men how to be men. I know that seems very strange that you have to teach men to be men, but I'm telling you, you do. None of the men that are watching right now, all you guys are manly, but there's a large number of men that just simply don't know what it means to be a man these days. I'm telling you, and I'm sure all of you have witnessed that or have been a part of that and have experienced. Whether you're dating, whether you've, you're an employer and have hired employees, I've seen it all. There are many men who know how to do nothing. Like, yeah, I would tell them, I say, hey, can you go out and can you, if I have an employee and I have a flat on one of the vehicles, I say, are you able to change that tire on that vehicle? I have 4 patrol cars in the security company. Well, I've never done that before. I don't know how to do it. I said, okay, well, go figure it out. Go watch a YouTube. What do you mean? Like, it was so foreign to them. Like, if I was just working for an employee, and I've worked for a lot of different employers, and even on patrol, we were told that, early on, later on we called tow truck. They didn't want us getting hurt changing a tire. But in the early stages, if you got a flat, if you didn't change it yourself, you were known as a big sissy. They actually use a different word, but you were thought to be a big sissy. And even when I was working for other employers, or in my early 20s, if they said, go change the tire, you would just go change the tire. Like, there would not be this conversation like, well, I don't know how to do that. Or I've never done, or are you sick? There would have been none of that. The boss says, go change the tire, go fix the flat. You go fix the flat. If the boss says, hey, can you fix that light fixture because it's hanging off and it needs to be fixed? You would say, sure. And you would just do it. You get the drill. You would get the screwdriver or the Phillips screwdriver. You get a rat, whatever it takes. You take the snips to cut the wires. You would turn the power off. You would know how to do. Like, there was no question, right? But today, you say anything like that, and they go, what? Like, how do I? Like, hey, I need you to do. My kids know how to do the wash, right? They know how to put the wash, and they know how to put the detergent. They know how to put the clothes from the washer into the dryer. Why? Because they have to. There's no, the little kids, like when my son was 6, he knows how to empty the trash can and put a new bag in the trash can. Putting the bag in the trash can is equally as important as taking the trash out of the trash can. That's part of the job. It's not just take the trash out of the trash can. It is putting the bag in the trash can so that when you step on the lid, it actually opens and actually knowing how to do all that. You start at 5 or 6. With that, my 14 knows how to change the filter on the pool. I'm not telling that to tell you I'm some spectacular person, but I'm telling you that there's a lot of men that are in their 20s and 30s and 40s, well, maybe not 40s, but 30s, that I know for sure because I had them working for me, that don't know how to do any of that stuff. Like, you would say, hey, I just simply, can you change the light bulbs throughout the office? I don't know how to change the fluorescent. How do you not? What do you mean? And why are you telling me you don't know? Figure it out. Like, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed that you have to tell me that you don't know how to change a light bulb? You're thinking that maybe I'm being like hyperbolic or I'm not making this up. That I've had employees that they're in their 20s or 30s. When I said, hey, we need to make sure and do this or X, Y, or Z, that they would say, how do I do that? And then I would have to show them how to do it. Very simple tasks. Very simple tasks. So when I say men need to be trained to be men, it is real. This is a real thing, and it needs to happen. Sorry to go on that whole rampage there for a little bit. It took away from my message, but I'm just telling you that this is the thing that needs to happen. All right. Me as well, but my page will melt snowflakes. Be warned, do not to want to offend, hurt people over the Constitution. Oh, yeah, I forgot that you guys started a fan club. That's the funniest thing. All right, my friends, I didn't mean to get on that last rant. That was an accident, but it just it kind of happened. So I apologize. But well, this is the thing. This is happening a lot. And so what you need to do, let me put up another graphic here, just in case, Ann. Facebook is making it more and more difficult for me to be notified. But this graphic here, see at the top where it says andyfalcopodcast.com. That's one place you're going to want to go to. Another place, which I don't have the graphic up yet, I'll have to do it, is go to the andyfalcoshow.com. andyfalcoshow.com will take you to the YouTube channel. Another place where we're being throttled, but it's not happening as much as it is on Facebook. And so subscribe on Facebook. I got 4 different channels on Facebook that I broadcast to. But on my YouTube channel, you go to the AndyFalcoShow.com, AndyFalcoShow.com. You click on that, and that will take you to the YouTube channel, and subscribe. Click the bell or the subscribe, and be a part of that. Twitter, it's a lost cause because all my videos on Twitter get blocked or whatever they do there. But this podcast is one place you can go where all of these broadcasts get uploaded into an audio format, and you'll get notified anytime I upload this broadcast up to the podcast. All right, sorry, I had a little moment there of not being able to breathe. All right, my friends, love you guys. Thank you for watching. And again, I apologize for trailing off into the man stuff, but it's important. But stay consistent. Wake up in the morning and try your very best to get into the Word. Read something in the Bible or devotional, or listen to a message. I listened to 3 messages last night from Mark Driscoll. Two of them I've heard probably 4 times previously. So I'm watching the same ones over again because you always pull out. So it's like watching a movie. You watch a movie, and you'll like the movie and you'll get something out. But when you watch it again, you'll see things you didn't see the first time, right? Or you'll hear jokes, or you'll hear them say something, a quote that hits you the second time and you didn't hear it the first time. It's something that with Mark and Jack Hibbs, that when I watch their messages more than once, there's always something new that comes out of it. Like I go, I remember him saying that the first time, but that's powerful. And I get my journal out and I write it out. So stay consistent, put God first, put his word first, the best you can, stay consistent in that. That will make the chaos that's happening throughout the holidays a lot less difficult. Love you guys too. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. I'm not sure who we are, but I appreciate that so much. All right, my friends. Yes, Amy. Yes. It seems like to us these are very simple things, and so when I talk about them, I'm sure people go, "No, that can't be real." No, I'm telling you, there's kids that have grown up with never changing a light bulb in their house. There's kids that never having to mop the floor, use a vacuum cleaner, learn how to empty the vacuum cleaner. Like they've never done that, and they're 20 and 30 years old. It is a real thing, and so oops. And I do I've uploaded to Rumble. Rumble's an odd duck right now. I know I love Dan Bongino and what he's doing with Rumble and Parler, Parler. And I do upload. Parler has limitations on how long a video can be uploaded. So not all my episodes can go onto Parler. Some of them have too large of files. So Parler's a little funky. Rumble, another thing that I do upload to. But again, it's sometimes a little bit slow, and for some reason, sometimes they don't go through. So, but yes, I am on Rumble also, and Parler. I probably should have mentioned that. Parler, I think, is going to allow live broadcasting pretty soon. That's the word on the streets. And I'm sure Rumble is going to follow pretty quickly. They're both those platforms Dan Bongino has an interest in. He is an owner and has invested in Parler. He's not the founder, but he is one of the owners of Parler. And I want to say that also with Rumble too. So I definitely want to support Dan Bongino on whatever he's doing. Nice, Priscilla. Yes, they are great. They have great messages, right? David Everett, neighbor. Every home and feeling well, being able to be with the kids. Yes. Oh, me too. That was really tough. That was not that easy. But feeling better, getting better every day. I'm off the oxygen. Just every so often I get these little like flu-like symptoms a little bit that cause me to have to take a nap. Once I take the nap and wake up, usually I'm feeling pretty good. That's really all. And then the taste buds are still not quite there. That the tongue is wacky. Like there's some foods I can taste and some that I can't. And then some, it changes the flavor, like soy sauce. I love soy because I love sushi and I love Chinese food. But for some reason right now, soy sauce tastes like CRAP. And so it's not, I don't know, it tastes bad. And so, especially if I put wasabi in there, if I put wasabi in the soy sauce, it tastes horrible. And so, just talking about, what's going on. All right, my friends, I love you. I know I went on too long and just carried on talking to you guys and probably talked about too much stuff. But always I appreciate you watching and paying attention. I'm thankful for the fan club that's been created, which sounds really odd, but I do appreciate so much you guys watching. And now I don't have a closer. I don't have an outro for the show, so I'm going to use my Andy Falco Show outro. All right, my guys, my friends, have a great day. Pray often, and get into the Word, and try to stay more consistent if you're like me and not that consistent. So I'm going to try. April Roga, sorry, I said the word try. Can we delete that out? I am going to be more consistent in my walk with Jesus Christ. All right, my friends, I love you. Take care. God bless.